Guys, I have worked out what the Power Ranger seasons are missing. The Handoffs! Kezza-henshin. Now for those who only watch Power Rangers and haven't really dabbled into the Sentai original shows, there are of course many differences to the American show, like there is actual good character arcs, the themes actually kind of make sense, and another thing being called the Super Sentai Handoffs or Super Sentai Yuzuri. It's a tradition for the Super Sentai seasons where mainly the Red Ranger of a finishing Sentai season passes on the torch to the next Sentai's Red Ranger. A great way to showcase the powers of the future Sentai and the basic characteristics of our future leaders, often including something that encapsulates the next team, but also giving us a chance to say goodbye to the past. A great interaction and an enjoyable thing that the Sentai does, that Power Rangers really don't. But honestly, I love the Handoffs, so I will be showing you all of them and ranking my favorite ones at the end. The first one we ever got was the end of DEKARANGER, meeting Magi Ranger in the final episode, episode 50, Forever DEKARANGER. Oh, this episode. Starting in the black background, which we will become very well acquainted with soon, both appear, pose, and give each other a sort of high five before posing to the audience. Quite simple, but a good start to this very much beloved tradition. The next one, we return with Magi Ranger meeting Bokenger this time, at the end of their last episode. Final stage, Return to Legends. We start outside this time and Magi Ranger calling Bokenger Red over their phones. Though they don't meet up physically in this one, and I think this is the only other one where they don't meet, we get a final pose from Boken Red at the end. In this, we start to see the clear use of a gimmick and the quirks of the following show, for example, the phones. Next is Bokenger to Geki Ranger at the end of the last task, the Endless Adventure Spirits. This one is a bit more stoic as they both walk slow motion towards each other, high five, and then Boken Red continues into the shadows as we get an almost ominous Geki Red looking at us when he comes into frame. I mean, this one makes me emotional for Boken Red leaving, but then Geki Red just popping into screen last minute makes me laugh. Also, this isn't his character. Boken Red walking calmly makes sense for him, but Geki Red calmly walking too isn't him. You'll see why in the next one, but for now, points are deducted. Geki Red this time runs in, jumping up and down, hyper as usual, greeting Go On Red from Go Onja. This is more his character. Go On Red gives a thumbs up, showing more of his character this time, and Geki Red, who is an inquisitive boy, gives him a fist bump instead. Go On Red speeds off, showing his car racer theme, and we are left with Geki Red waving him goodbye. This one is so sweet and wholesome. Next up is Go Onja to Shinkenja. Now, put your sunglasses on as we aren't in the black room anymore. We are going outside to touch some grass and come across a battle between Go On Red and Shinken Red, both drawing and clashing their swords. Now, respecting each other, Go Onja hands off to Shinken Red before both looking at the audience. Just two bros with big swords just hanging out. There's no innuendo in this. Following on from that explosive handoff, again, not an innuendo, we get Shinkenja again, this time handing off to Gosai Red from the Gosaijers. As his show comes to an end, Gokai Red puts his sword away in its holster to show him finally done with the fight, when in the reflection of the Shinkenmaru hilt, Gosai Red appears, running to him, patting him on the shoulder as he runs past to take on his burden, symbolic and emotional. I like it. Now on to maybe my favorite, spoilers, Gosaija to Gokaija. Gokai Red drops in like the pirate he is, and with an approving nod from the predecessor, they high five and they walk past each other. And perfectly on time with the music, Gokai Red flicks his collar. So cool! This shows the gimmick of the pirate theme, shows his characteristics of the flick, just great. This may be one of my favorite Sentais. Maybe. But also I feel like I need a high five counter. 8th one out of many, we have Gokaija to Go Busters. And what an entrance! Red Buster flipping rides in on his motorbike, and after getting off, Gokai Red throws a punch at him. Okay, buddy. Gokai Red walks into the fog, mysterious and cool as ever, and Red Buster just bows in respect. He reboards his motorcycle once more and gives a thumbs up, ready for his mission. Now this is the most awkward one I feel like, which is unfortunate as it features another favourite of mine, Go Busters into Kyoryuja in Final Mission, Eternal Bonds. Red Red Buster appears on screen and suddenly gets attacked from behind by Kuryo Red before getting into what's described as a short scuffle until Red Buster catches a punch, very reminiscent of his handoff with Gokai Red, which stops the fight. Like the senpai he is, Red Buster leans on the overconfident and hot-headed Kuryo Red. Just a wholesome end. Now an interesting change. Suddenly a Pink Ranger is on screen for the Kuryoja and Tokyuja handoff. This is because the show is all about trains and different stations, and as Kuryo Red is confused, Tokyu Ichigo transfer changes into his normal red suit. This is a great handoff again, as it shows the characteristics slightly, but also introduces this new gimmick of this new Sentai, which is changing colors and powers. To end this, they high-five and Tokyu Ichigo runs to the camera, and Kuryo Red just waves goodbye. Very Kingu of him, and these interactions are so nice. The wave goodbye almost makes me emotional. Tokyuja 2 Ninja is next. Tokyu Ichigo in the final episode, Terminal Station, the Shining Ones, is tired from his many battles. The kid just needs a nap. He stretches his arms up and in a poof of smoke, Aka Ninja appears, poised for battle. Tokyu Ichigo high-fives him and just calmly walks off, and Aka Ninja bows for posing once again like a ninja. Tokyu Ichigo is just going to bed, guys. Let him sleep. Ninja is back once again, this time handing off to Zhu Oja at the end of Shinobi Final Chapter, to a future without hiding. WASSHOI! Zhao Eagle flies from above, landing with feathers all around him. Okay, Hawk. Again, with the high fives, Aka Ninja, tired from the missions, walks away while resting his sword on his shoulder, and Zhao Eagle does his signature pose to end this off. Moving on, we see Shishi Red sneak up on Zhao Eagle for the Kyuranger handoff. Straight away, rude. This dude fought many battles, and this is how you respect your senpai? Tut tut tut. Zhao Eagle is surprised by Shishi Red's surprise, does a special handshake, and as he goes to fly off, like the eagle he is, Shishi Red grabs him and holds him down, giving the audience a thumbs up. How quirky. Though annoying and childish, this is a great showcasing of the Red's character in the upcoming show. Spicing up our interactions now, we get Shishi Red and then 2 Red Rangers? Kyuranger 2 Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger. Shishi Red gets interrupted and pushed to the side while a fight between Lupin Red and Pat Ichigo is happening, who don't even have the decency to stop for a second to say hi. They pose and disappear off screen very quickly, leaving a very confused Shishi Red alone in the state of utter bewilderment. Same. This is also the first time ever we have had 3 Reds in one single handoff, but it is fun and shows that the next season will have thieves and police, which is such a fun concept. Bringing back the 2 fighting Reds again, still fighting by the way, is Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger, 2 Rai Soldier, not in a normal black room again. We appear in the room from the end of the Versus show, almost continuing from where the episode ended, which is a great touch. But Real Soul Red jumps in between the bickering pair, deflecting all their gunshots before dragging them both into the middle before posing. They also ship them too. BL for life, right? Now, yes! Coming to the last 3 so far, we get Real Soldier's handoff to Kira Major in final episode, The Will of the Earth. A simple action for this one as Real Soul Red approaches Kiramai Red, waving to the very shiny Gem Ranger in a not very dark room. My hermit eyes, they burn! They high-five each other and Kiramai Red spins and poses. This is such a Sailor Moon transformation without the henshin, and you can't convince me otherwise. And just the glitter and sparkles, I love this. A standoff starts the next one as Kira Red and Zenkaiser, who is a very new looking ranger, a white one with rainbows down it, walk towards each other for the Kira Ranger and Zenkaiser handoff. They go to punch each other, but no impact. I see this as either they both knew they wouldn't hurt each other, or it's like a good look out there punch, I guess. Kiramai Red skips away, waving him goodbye, and Zenkaiser returns the wave before posing. What a poser, hehe. I know, bad joke, let's just continue. And finally we have got to our final handoff as of yet, with Zenkaiser holding onto Donbrothers in Last Kai, My World, Everyone's World. Donmamotaro, our most recent Red, elegantly wafting his fan when Zenkaiser sneaks up behind him and pounces on his prey. However, this does not bother Donmamotaro as he just throws him off and Zenkaiser falls to the ground. However, Donbrothers offers a hand, picks him up, and they pose, almost like a graduation photo. We also get the detailed background art of the Donbrothers opening, which I love, but again, I still miss the simplistic black background occasionally. Now, before we choose the top 10 of the best handoffs so far, I just want to say that I think the traditions of the handoffs are a great introduction to the future show, but also a great way for the audience to accept that the show that they've come to love and know is now over. It could be emotional, funny, and surprising as you see the first glimpse of characters characters, gimmicks, or themes. And as we get more and more experimental shows coming with Donbrothers having CGI'd characters, I still hope that this tradition stays amongst the beloved memories of these shows and how they are seen and presented. Now I am finishing talking nicely. Let's place them and present the top 10. Remember, this is just my opinion. Don't get offended, please. Anyway, let's begin. In 10th place, DEKARANGER to Magiranger. It's a great classic being the original. It's simplistic but showing the characters in a perfect way, just wholesome and not complicated. Perfect. In 9th place, we have Shinkenja to Goseiger, yet another simple one, but this one had some emotion that I loved. The pat on the shoulder is almost like you can rest now. Very Gosei red. In 8th place, it's Ninja and Joja as the eagle flies in. It's showing the gimmick clearly, and I just love the looks of the feathers. In 7th place, Ninja returns with their handoff with Tokyuja, exploding their way into it, and their final pose is satisfying. Don't know how to explain it. In 6th place, Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger and Real Soldier. The BL one. The fighting is unnecessary, but loved how they incorporated the last scene of the show into it, as they will always fight, and the way Real Soul Red holds them close is like he ships them too. You may think I'm being too obsessed about the yaoi, but dude, they kissed in the stage play, so it's canon! In 5th place, we have Kiramager and Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger. Again, they are fighting, and I think it's a very good way to showcase the constant bickering and the two sides of the show, but also just fucking love how confused Shishi Red is at the end of this. In 4th place, we have Go Busters and Kyoryuja. Though the scuffle is a bit awkward, the fact that they have that friendly interaction like Senpai helping his new Kyohai, the leaning on him pose is again wholesome. Now for the top 3. In 3rd place, we have Kyoryuja and Tokyuja. For one, everyone can be in pink this season, which is great. I love this simple showcasing of the gimmick. In 2nd place is Geki Ranger and Goonja. Honestly, because in its purest and simplistic form, this is Geki Red to a T, and also showcases the gimmick so easily. Again, wholesome, and I just love these two. Now, before we get to my number 1, we have some special mentions. Real Soldier to Kiramager, just because it feels like a Sailor Moon transformation. And also one we haven't mentioned yet, the Dino Force Brave handoff. Dino Force Brave is South Korea's version of Kyoryuja, and I wanted to mention it as it's the first handoff between a sequel and non-Japanese Sentai show. And now for the top handoff. Coming in first place in my personal ranking is Goseiger to Gokaiger. The fact that Gokai Red just drops from the sky on a rope, probably from his ship, is such a great addition. They high-five, and then to end it, Gokai Red flicks his collar on the beat of the music. Handoffs don't have to be difficult, complicated, or intricate, but something as simple as a flick of the collar to music is so what I'm here for. Also, because I may have a bias to Marvelous, so... Hey, this is my ranking. And as Eugene would say, I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. But anyway, this has been my top 10 Sentai handoffs. If you agreed with my list, let me know down below. If you disagree, let's agree to disagree, yeah? I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll chat to you next time. Kezza-henshin, mata ne!